So I I end up winning this, but I feel like there was some wrong decision making along the way. So
Yeah. Alright, we'll see. So we're going first. Oh, we're going second. Yeah, I wouldn't have kept that hand. Yeah, this hand's fine, not too bad. Just need to find Zoro and you're fine. If you don't, it's okay also. Not Zoro. Okay. Uh, yeah, stage first. I'll hold on to the second stage. Yeah.
yep, for a double stage turn, which I think I get off.
You can just take Luffy. Yeah.
I end up taking I think a 2K,
This
just to be
matchup, you're
fair.
not too urgent for like counters. Just find like your core, like the drops, the characters that you're playing. That'll be better. Okay,
Okay.
just
I guess that makes sense actually.
yeah. Alright, end up picking it up anyway, so that's good. Yeah, just play pass.
Yep.
Probably just pick out another
I just
Zoro.
chain.
Yeah,
I think I just chained the Zoro.
yeah,
Okay.
pick out another Zoro is fine. This matchup not urgent for defense. Just want to find like stuff that you're playing. Okay, swing 6. You can take this one also. Yeah. He can't remove this. He probably has to play like I think Laboon or Kuzan. That's fine. This is like non-threat for you. Yeah. Actually, this
So
turn.
actually,
Yeah.
I do have a question for you. So in this situation where he had an actual threat, like he plays the Kuzan or he plays Laboon,
Yeah.
and he doesn't remove, is there a world where my follow-up play is the green Zoro just to tap it and then swing
Yeah. If he plays,
body and leader?
I think here no matter what, if he plays like Kuzan or Laboon, then you just play 6 horse Luffy, and all can turn this turn. Cause your board stick. Next time he only can remove one. So this is like I mean what I'll do is I'll just play 6 Luffy and turn. Then next time when he plays when he taps the Kuzan or the Laboon, then next time you can play Fatty Zoro to contest it. Try to get the full value of Zoro, like when he can swing. Yeah, here don't play SMP, just play 6 cost Luffy and all swing face. Cause your 4 cost Zoro stuck on the board, then next time he can only clear one. Somehow this time he play Khalifa and not like a 4 cost Kuzan or Laboon. So he can't even set up preemptive removal. Means next time he needs to start the turn fresh, going through reducer and removal to answer your cards. But with a 4 and a 6 on the board, there's no easy way for him to answer both. He only can answer one. So you always, the moment you can snowball advantage of your board, right, you want to start swinging. You don't want to starve him the whole game. I think that's like a common misconception people have when I say starve the Lucci. But you starve them until the point that they can't remove your board. The moment they can't, then you can start swinging.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking it from the perspective of he's got to burn a lot of resources now to get either of these off the board with nothing, with no Kuzan or anything. So it would require a lot of cards from hand.
Yeah,
But I guess not.
that's why you swing. Because it requires him to
Okay.
go through a lot of resources to answer your board and he has no Kuzan. That's the reason you swing.
Okay, yeah, yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Got it.
Yeah, but this play is fine also. But I much prefer against Lucci, I ramp up my Dawn normally so that I can have more Dawns to work with.
I think is I just went for the Sanji.
Yeah, you probably
I
just
just
go
figured
SM.
value.
Yeah, this is fine as well. Yeah, but you can start swinging. Yeah, you don't have to stop him from this point. It's fine. Yeah, just take another SMP. The moment your board gets snowball, like you can guarantee stick like one body on the board, you can just swing. The reason you starve in matchups, right, is to deny them of having the opportunity of answering as much as possible. So the moment they can't answer, then you can just start swinging. Like in this case, this spot also, like your board is full, you're not really at risk. You can even go for SMP into Fatty Zoro here. Yeah. And then you just start swinging already. You have like 4 attacks. Here you can play Fatty Zoro, tap the Hina, just swing into it. Yeah. Then if he counters, you can
This
continue chasing. Then now your 3 attacks just all go face. No point to float like the attackers anymore. You're super ahead on the board. No point to stuff really.
yeah. So that's what I end up starving and it just
Yeah.
put me into a
No
bad
no
situation. So it makes sense.
yeah, no point, no point. No point to stuff when you're here on the board. Cause he like sort of failed to answer your board 2 turns already. Now one Hina and Shigan isn't like doing anything to your board, especially when you stuck 2 Zorojeros on the board. Yeah. Here you can counter, cause like the Khalifa needs to attach 1 Dawn to move.
Yep. Yep.
If
That's
the
exactly.
Khalifa was anything else, like a Lucci for example, then I'll let the Zoro go.
Mm.
There's no point to counter for a 5k character when you have a 6k leader. Yeah. One more fatty Zoro and it's like game over for him. If you can find it. If not, then just 6 cost Luffy here is also very strong. You can even restand a 6 cost Luffy, don't even use leader effect this turn. See what you find. Definitely just start off with the 1 cost event. If you have done that first, see what's your play for the turn. Because your hand currently no play. Like the only play I can see from your hand right now is that you play for 3 cost Sanji, which is fine by the way. Yeah. Yeah, you should just use the leader effect here, just so you can play 3 cost Sanji.
So you prefer the Sanji over the SMP?
SMP is fine.
Yeah, situation.
SMP is fine also. No difference. Just
this is I should be attacking.
Yeah, you got like 3 turns, you should just swing already.
Because then I let him get off this Kuzan. I'm pretty sure he drops it right here, and then I struggle to close out the game.
Don't think you will struggle, because the Kuza only answers like 1 body here. Your board has like 5. There's no way he answers like 5 bodies in 1 turn. Even with double Lucci, you have stage to bump up like the stuff so that you can avoid.
Have so much counter in hand, I figured just make him work for it.
Yeah, here you can counter, it's fine. Yeah, then he plays Kuzan here. If you just swung like 2 turns earlier, then he will already be like half dead at this point. You probably still end up winning this, but yeah, I think you need to recognize that you can start swinging the moment your board snowballs. Somehow he has.
I do win it, but yeah, it was way closer than it should have been by far.
This game would have been one-sided. Here just pick up the Sanji, I guess. Once you can play the Sanji for 3 costs. That's very strong.
Yeah. This is where it's like, because I have this full board for the most part, is it okay for me to swing with things and then play the Sanji over ever?
No, just attach Dawn and swing. Why you want to?
Yeah.
Why you want to?
No. That's what I'm making sure.
You want to play more stuff when you're board full, wasting cards. You should be swinging harder, cause you have so much Dawn back at the back. It doesn't matter. Like you're not using your Dawn for anything else anyways.
Yeah, this is where I do the stupid, where I think I swing this, block it, and then I throw out the 6 cost.
Yeah, for what? The 6 Dawn you invest here, you just attach to your board, you are swinging harder.
Yeah. Hindsight is motherfucker. Okay, yeah. It's a Shigan. I think this is where he actually cleared. He gets a full.
Yeah, he confirm can clear. That's why you should have kept the Luffy. Because it's like, if you clear the board, you can still burst him with Luffy.
I don't think anything. He just double Lucci's, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does double Lucci, Mancherry. There's the whole board.
Yeah.
Swings. Take it. I hit a Luna trigger, rest is Lucci because I can Luna the next turn.
That's fine. Though I probably would have kept it.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause the Lucci is gonna have to turn next turn regardless. You can just do none next turn.
I think I do something really fucking wonky here. I'm pretty sure I Usohachi rest the Lucci and then freeze with Luna.
That's fine. Not too bad. I mean, your objective here is just to push him to 0 and gem him next turn. You have 2 Usohachi, so you can do that quite reliably.
Yeah,
You can use your leader effect here, it's fine. Because you're already at 9 turn. So you use your leader effect here, next turn you're still at 9.
Yeah, so I freeze it.
Yeah. Let's probably play. Just jam with like. Just jam for 8, then play 3 cost Sanji.
Got gem for 9. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think playing the Sanji makes a difference. Unless he plays like double blocker, then maybe you have difference. But your hand can only tap 1. You have no more Luna. So like if this board restands, you might die. I don't think you will die, but I think I would have played the second body down so that I've forced him to use remover. Then he cannot like feel as free to develop like double blocker or some shit. He can go for
No,
like,
that's actually a fair point.
he can go like Rebecca Brook into Sabo. That's like his best line of play. But he needs to have like the Brook in his hand or Sabo in his hand and Brook in his trash. Like some combo that he needs. Oh, and you have stage also, so that doesn't get there. He needs to have 1 reducer on top of that. Yeah, probably play Sanji is better.
So 8 level Sanji.
Yeah, I don't think I need to see this anymore. Oh, I think you end up winning.
Yeah.
You end up winning.
Yeah, I do.
End up winning still, but like the earlier part, if you just started swinging, he'll be half dead by the time he gets to the Kuzan. Then he'll be dead the turn after. So no.
No.
Your board
Took your.
Yeah.
It took you too literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't. Stuff is like you all need to make sense of it. Like a lot of people ask me like, why am I losing games to Lucci? I'm like, you probably stuff him the whole game. And they say they lose to 10 Kuzan. Then it's like the only games you lose when you reach 10 Kuzan is like when they can answer your board like consistently, then get to the 10 Kuzan. But by then their hand is quite depleted. That's why this matchup I say is like GP favored. Because if you play optimally, it's never Lucci favored. Like the guy needs to answer your board every turn. Like whatever you play out, he needs to answer. Then anytime something sticks on the board, right, you can snowball from there. So like in this case, like when you had the Zoro stick on the board, then he didn't play Kuzan, didn't play Labun. Next time just play takes out Luffy and all punch face already. He'll probably push like 2 life. Then next turn he can answer one of them, one body stick on the board. Next turn you go like SMP into 4. Then it's like, or your board always have like, they only can answer 2 bodies max a turn, and that's like assuming they have enough reducers also. So your board, as long as 1 body sticks, you can always snowball from there.
No, I mean this makes sense. It was something I was thinking about. So
yeah,
kind of glad you confirmed it for me a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, let me get the next video. The only question I'd have for you in this matchup too, right? Like, what is your trigger point to start swinging if they don't literally turn anything sideways, right? And they're just, I have my board. Am I just swinging to force their swings? That's it.
If you have swings, I mean, you have a board means you should start swinging already.
And I guess when I say board, it's like two bodies.
That's more than enough. 1 body is enough. Because you're probably gonna develop like 2 more. Then next time they can only answer 1 through removal. They can only answer 2 at most through removal. And you have Fatty Zoro to tap their board and contest it. If their board is not rested, means they're not doing removal or shit, right? Because that means they're not tapping their Kuza, means they're not tapping their Labun. Means you have a board, means you can snowball from there. I need to see the board state to know. But you tell me right off the bat, I only can tell you probably. If you have a board.
I mean, that makes sense enough.
Yeah. They're doing something else if their board is not tapped.
Right, they're just loading leader and swinging the phase and keeping their stuff up.
Yeah, that means they are not turning. Then means they are not removing, probably. If they're not playing Kuzan or Labuns. If they have to use the reducers and the removal from hand, their hand will be depleted quite fast. I need to see, like I can't tell you an answer right like just this context. Need to see the board.
Oh,
yeah.
It's fine. It's I know it's all situational. Alright, let me find this GP game versus Zaki, because we played a set last night. I think I just I don't know if I high roll, but I was seeing on my pieces. Games felt pretty straightforward and easy for like clear-cut victory. Then there was a game where I just couldn't find, I think, pieces as well as him, and I just like crumbled. I had no idea how to navigate out of that situation. I think it was just tons of misplays and stupid decisions. So let me grab that.
Yeah, we will see.
Is this the one? Let me make sure this is the one that beats the shit out of me. Nope. Yeah, I think this is. Yep. Okay. Well, let me pull this up.
Okay, I'm going first. Yeah, don't keep this hand. Stage searcher is not
actually
good. Stage searcher is not good enough. Need to be 2 searchers at least. This hand is like damn bad. Cause stage don't even search.
I mean, that would explain why I also was not finding pieces correctly.
Yeah, I go first priority is to secure Sanjay Pudding. The only hands I'll keep going first is like if I have like one Nami and searcher event. That's the only one that I might consider keeping. Yeah, like super bricked. Your hand is like all, and it's yeah. He picked out SMP, so better to not swing. Cause wait, did he keep his hand? That's something important to take note of also. If he kept his hand, means he minimum have Zoro. So it means he have Sanjay Pudding and Zoro already. You should just swing. You just know like
That's extremely fair.
Yeah, I need to pay attention to whether he kept his hand if he goes second. Because if he goes second, keep his hand means his hand definitely has Zoro already. Because there's no hand you keep going second without Zoro. It's always Zoro plus Searcher or Zoro plus SMP. And in this case, it's probably Zoro plus Searcher because he found SMP off the pudding. It might be his third, might be a second one also. So who knows? So you should just swing already at this point. No point of stuff. The reason for stuff in any matchup in One Piece in general is to deny opportunities for the opponent. But in this case,
if he keeps the hand, we know he probably has it. So
if he
makes
keeps,
sense.
means he probably has it. Okay, you need to see like then I guess you're fucked already. Even if you find SMP off this Zoro, you don't even have a good follow up the next turn. Because your hand is all 3 cores and blocker Robin. I don't know what you're gonna do. You need to swing, like you can't starve him already, because now you're gonna be behind on the board. If you continue starving him, the advantage will keep getting pushed back to him rather than the other way around. Need to swing.
I know I swing. I think I was debating whether I'm swinging 5 or 6.
Yeah. Just swing 6 and play Zoro. No point to float one. I mean you can play Zoro first, see what you find.
I think I ended up swinging 5 first.
I don't think it matters because he's gonna take it regardless.
He's gonna take it anyways, and that's kind of how I felt about it.
Yeah, let's take the SMP.
I'm the SMP. Yeah.
Then you pray you find a follow up next turn. Best follow up is like Luffy or like SMP and Zoro again. Though chances of that happening is not very high. Because you already just went through one Zoro. That wasn't in your opening hand. So that means that the next Zoro is like 1 in 13 cards. Even Fatty Zoro here is quite bad because he gets 2 swings into the thing.
I'm fairly positive that is what comes out of it, and then I think I make a really, really bad fucking decision and ruin any chance I have at the game.
I mean, if he plays Fatty Zoro, you have to counter. You can't lose the ball here. Lose the ball, you cannot.
That's what I did.
Yeah, you lose the ball, you cannot win here, so you must counter. And that's why you're in a bad position, because he's the first one to make you commit cards.
Yeah, he does that. He swings the 6 in.
Yeah, you have to counter.
I don't. I didn't, and I think I immediately regretted it. The turn after, I said, "Why the fuck did I do that?" I think that lost me the game.
Yeah, if you let it go, you lose. Yeah, not 100% lose. He don't even need to swing in this Zoro now.
And I guess even if it's the leader swing and the Zoro swing, I have to counter both, right?
Yeah, you have to counter both. But then at least the Zoro is rested, you can contest it. Your hand is utter dog shit, so like you can't even, like if you don't fight back somehow or like somehow, you're not gonna win. Is this the only game you have recorded?
No, we have other ones, but the thing is, like, it was like pretty bad blowouts against him.
Yeah, of course
For
this
the
will be
most
a
part.
blowout because you play like shit. You keep a hand that you're not supposed to keep, then you never counter for the Zoro. You make him do nothing. Like you're not forcing any action from him. Now you have to just keep punching face, and then his hand keeps growing, while you have no board. You're not gonna win. His board has look at his board. His board has 3 attacker. Your board only has 1. That just got played.
Yeah, I think at that point that's like the only decisions that I needed.
Yeah, what you could have done if you just protected the Zoro
Definitively
is
the
next turn you play Sanji Pudding, use leader effect, buff up the Zoro so that it cannot be arrested by another fatty Zoro. Then just jam your leader into their Zoro and get cards from them, or make sure the Zoro dies. At least take something from their board away from them. So that at least it is a little bit more neutral, where he has Sanji Pudding and Zoro while you have Sanji Pudding and Robin. It's not that bad. Now he has 3 attackers while you only have 1. It's like a 3 versus 1 lead. Super ahead on the board. He has the resources to defend also. So you're not winning.
I'm just going immediately.
Yeah, you
off that one interaction.
no point. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else for me to see here.
Yeah, and I figured that was going to be the case.
Yeah, it's just that you just lost the board for no reason.
All right, let me grab something else.
Yeah.
I think there was also
The Ken cannot keep because it was searcher event and stage. If it was 2 searcher, maybe I'll consider keep. But going first, your priority is to find Sanji Pudding. Without it, you're losing because is the advantage you have going first is that you get to be the first one to put out Sanji Pudding, potentially curve out into power spike Luffy Taro. Maybe. Not always, but that's the power spike when going first. Luffy Taro and into SMP into Zoro. If you hit that high roll, you probably win. But yeah, so your advantage going first is seeing Sanji Pudding on 5. If you don't even get to that advantage, then why you choose first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. I think I'm just so scared of. But I have to play to win. I can't be scared.
Stage and one cost event is not good enough because it's only top 3 search. Okay, if you kept a hand with Stage and Nami, maybe I can still rationalize it a little bit. Though I still wouldn't, but yeah, it's like at least it's a little bit better because top 5 search is way more like chance to find than top 3 search.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just like way too scared of it. I got a mulligan to win, not to be a bitch.
It's not even mulligan to win, it's just the hand cannot keep because you don't even have guaranteed. Let's say even if you find Sanji Pudding, what the fuck are you following up with the next turn?
Nothing. I don't have shit.
Your hand is
my next plays are terrible.
Yeah, your hand is all 2k counter and giant. So you can't even even if you found the SMP of the searcher event, then unless you draw well for like the next 2 turns, there's no follow up for turn 4.
Yeah, we're just screwed. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Let me
I think minimally if you want to keep is like at least double searcher. Like at least 1 Nami plus 1 cost event. That one you can consider keeping. As long as your hand got 1 more follow up, like maybe 6 cost Luffy Taro, then maybe I'll consider keep. That is might not be a snap keep, but that will be what you call a safe keep. Because you are playing safe by keeping the hand. Like those type of
we have 2 more than likely two decently strong turns.
And you search
already.
You search 8 cards also.
Yeah. Okay.
The chance of you seeing Sanji Pudding is 1 in 13. So like if you go through 8 cards, probably you will see unless the Sanji Pudding you put into your life. Yeah, but generally top 8 cards you should be able to find 1 Sanji and Pudding. It's a little bit better than 50%. Because it's 8 in 13. Not 8 in 13, but you go through 8 cards and you're supposed to find 1 in 13 Sanji Pudding. Even if you place 1 to live, it's still 1 in 13. Because you go through 10 cards at the start of the game already.
Okay. I just gotta make sure I keep that all in mind. Alright, let me
just need to know your mulligan priority when going first or second. Go first, you need to find Sanji Pudding, at least 1 copy, and plus follow up. That's all you need. If you find searches, then yeah, you can keep also. But best is you secure Sanji Pudding first. Then going second is secure Zoro plus Sanji Pudding. So you can keep a hand with like Nami and Zoro. That's something you can consider keeping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a good example. This is like a snap peep in
Okay,
this.
let me see.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sharing. There we go.
Yeah, this hand can keep. Because you have Sanji Pudding. So means next turn you can swing 5-5 with Nami and leader. Because if you take one, right, you should play Nami here. Because you already have Sanji Pudding. Next turn you can swing 5-5. And you can. So it's like the BY thing, right? With Garb. It's the same thing. Because if you swing 5-5, he has to take one and counter one. Which means that his hand doesn't grow.
I did not think of doing the searcher swing play.
Yeah, probably what you should have done instead. Because you already have the Sanji Pudding in your hand. That's why you're playing on turn 3. Which means that on that turn, on your 3-down turn, you don't need to be doing anything. And typically with this deck, on your 5-down turn, if you use leader effect, you're not doing anything with the 3-down that you keep up with Sanji Pudding plus leader effect. So that will be the turn that you continue spinning on searchers. So because you already have Sanji and Pudding, just play the Nami and pass. Just play Nami, then swing 5-5 next turn. So you can like push one life while getting one card from him, which means that he's taking life but not getting any advantage to hand.
And when you say when we go through that line, right? Are we assuming that in the Sanji Pudding turn when are we leader ability to float the one dot of search spin the Nami then to
we will play
find the next play?
Okay, so how I map out this, like the first 3 turn, okay, turn 1 play Nami, then swing 5-5 on turn 2. Then next turn you play Sanji Pudding, you can do stage and cycle 2 Nami. Yeah. That's why.
And then find the next turn, the next play.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I think that's why I wasn't seeing that, as I was too scared because I'm like, we don't have the next plays if we do that.
What do you mean you don't have the next play? You already have Sanji. Your play is settled for like 3 turns already. Turn 1 to turn 3 is already resolved. Because you have Sanji Pudding, Nami, that's enough for going first. Then, yeah, you find 6 plus Luffy, so that's your follow-up. Yeah, here should just you should just
always the Luffy.
You should just take the Luffy for follow-up. Then this turn you pressure. This turn what you could have done is you pressure 5-5. Yeah. But yeah, it's fine. Here you just take Zoro, I guess. Okay, since we are in this spot that we didn't play Nami and swing 5-5, right? Then you need to know, did he keep his hand? If he kept his hand, you should swing. Cause means he minimum has Zoro. Minimally. Which means that when you play Sanji Pudding and you swing again, he'll be put to 2 life already. Which means from then on, right, every leader swing you set at him, he needs to counter. If he kept his hand, you should swing, in this case. Though what I would have done is play Nami on 1 and then swing 5-5.
Yeah, and I believe he actually did keep his hand on this one. So, yeah okay. No,
going first, if you open Nami, right, what you can do is you swing 5-5. Next turn, if he doesn't swing back into the Nami, right, when you play Sanji Pudding, you can swing 5-6. So every turn when you attack 2 times, right, you're always like taking 1 life from him while forcing him to counter 1 card. So his hand is never growing that way, you see. And the resource that is dwindling in this case is his life. He's taking life, but his advantage is not going up. Which is good for you because you're taking initiative, pushing life, while he is not getting any cards if you're pushing 2 attacks every turn. Because he has to like counter. There's no way he counter 2. Counter 2 is -2 from hand. So he'll always be take 1, counter 1, take 1, counter 1. So across 2 turns, his hand won't grow. His hand will only be growing through his draw for turn, not from taking life.
Okay. Yeah. Right. That makes sense.
So it's important to know whether he keep his hand or not when in the mirror. If they keep his hand going second, it means they minimally have Zoro. Minimally. So if that's the case, you should just swing. But here you just play, yeah, then use leader effect, cycle stage. You see how you get behind from now? Cause now he's at 4 life, but he has the board advantage in a sense.
Yep. Yeah.
Because he's the first one to put a threat on the board, which is a 0-0. Then next time if you have the follow-up, right? Like 5 into 4, he still have 4 life. So you're never putting pressure on him, you see. Going first is all about the initiative. You need to take initiative in this case. You only starve him if like he mouth his hand and he didn't find the 0-0 / Sanji Pudding. Like if he plays Searcher and he didn't find, then it's best to starve him to deny him of chance of seeing. Because if their searchers can find 0-0 or Sanji Pudding, they will take it in a heartbeat, regardless of whether or not they have it in their hand already. So if they go second and they play Searcher on the 2-dawn turn and they didn't pick up 0-0 or Sanji Pudding, then you should starve them. But if they pick up either of these, you should swing. So very important to know what they find and whether or not they kept their hand. That's the most important piece of information you need to know before you starve them.
No, I appreciate that because I've never really paid too much attention to mulligans or keeps.
Yeah. It's very
especially in sim.
If you use the starving method wrongly, you're gonna lose a lot more games. Because this method requires you to have as much information as possible. Did they keep their hand? What they find their searches? Because then you can put them on a read. If I swing into them when they when they didn't keep their hand and they didn't play any searcher, means that I'm giving them 1 life to potentially find their 0-0 or like their follow-up play. Here he just chill. He don't even need to use leader effect. He can just pass this turn. Because you're very behind on the board. Okay, he ends up swinging. I don't really like this from him. Because now you can just swing back at his board. You can take 1, then counter that. You can take 1, counter 1. Yeah. I would take that just to force the Luffy to move also. But because the Luffy never move, then it's okay. Then now this turn you just contest back the Zoro. And you can play SMP plus 0-0 and still get a card draw. Very nice. Yep. I wouldn't swing Sanji Pudding first, I would swing leader first. Because if the 0-0 dies off my leader swing, I don't need to turn my Sanji Pudding.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, here just push. Okay, now you're back ahead on the board, which is good. And you have Gamma Knife to punish the Luffy for turning next turn also.
Yeah, I know I use it. I think I know I 100%.
Next turn very strong. You can do Luffy Taro, Sanji Pudding, and Gamma Knife.
I think I did this really stupid.
He might not turn the board here, which is good for you. Either whether he turn the board or he doesn't turn the board is good for you. If he turn the board, you can take the Luffy. You can take the 6-cost Luffy. But if he doesn't,
he does do it.
If he doesn't turn the board, then you can chase face also. Cause you have little threat on him right now. You have 4 attacks into 2 life, so it means you're guaranteed to get 2 cards from him. Yeah. So you can swing like 6-6 to face, and then you pivot the chasing board to maximize advantage, maximize pressure. Cause that way we'll get more than 2 cards from him. Actually, in the mirror, it's not important to swing for like odd numbers. It's better to ask them card for card. Like just ask for 1 card each time you swing.
1k and 2k is virtually the same.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And once they run out of them, they have to start using their giants on your like 1k or 2k swings. And giant usually not reliable to draw counter. Here I'll take to force the Luffy to turn. Like incentivizing to turn the Luffy here. Because if you turn the Luffy, you can Gamma Knife and chase it. But counter here is fine also. Cause staying at 2 life might also incentivize him to move with the Luffy. Yeah. Okay, but yeah, just counter. The next time you can just Gamma Knife the Luffy.
So you're gonna yell at me for this one, 100%. Because I try to greed Nami advantage too much. And just Gamma knifing and then swinging 2Ks with Nami into the fucking Luffy. But I should have been establishing that Luffy Taro, no matter what. And I didn't. So I chip with my 7s first.
Yeah, you should be chipping with 6 first. Cause if you take 6, right, then you can pressure with your 7s. Cause you attach Rondon, you swing 8k already.
Okay. Yeah. So again, that's the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 2, as long as he's giving a card.
Yeah. It matters in this case, cause if he decides to take any of the initial 6k swings, then he can get punished by cause you can swing 8s next.
I think
Okay, but regardless, you're guaranteed to get 2 cards from him, so just get that out of the way first. You should Gamma Knife and chase the Luffy first, in this case. Cause now, maybe if he just full commit counter the Luffy, you might die next turn. Make sure the Luffy dies first before you go for
we have to confirm it.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that makes sense. That's a far safer play. As opposed to be trying to bait 2Ks and 1Ks out of his hand.
Yeah, cause he can full counter for the Luffy even if you Gamma Knife. If you're just cause you're out of like big swings already. You're only left with your leader and 2 Nami. If you can counter off for the Luffy, you might die next turn, cause you're at 1 life. And your hand is like all bricks also.
This is where I do the stupidest thing instead of Luffy taroing. And then just swinging big with lead and the Zorojoro that I had. I just chug into him with the Navis and just chip cards. Which is dumb. It's like a troll fucking play line.
Yeah.
Establish nothing.
Now what if you full counter the board and you establish nothing, then next time you play into Luna also. Imagine
He was like full hand and protected.
Imagine he counter all the way, and then next time he Luna and punch you back, you're dead.
I think I ended up just settling. I should have even done that. I should have just jammed into the Luffy Taro.
Okay, but the good thing is we have Fatty Zoro, so you can do like 2 attacks into it. So you can more or less guarantee that it dies. Because your 2 attacks are swinging for like 6-5. I will just swing 6 first, then if you counter, you can play Fatty Zoro and swing again.
See what I did?
Cause 6k into 2k is asking for 5k counter already. What the fuck are you doing?
I asked myself the same thing when I did that. I was like, why did I do that?
Make sure the thing dies first.
So we still clear it.
Yeah. Then now if you Luna and punch you back, you might die.
Fortunately, he doesn't have it, and I think he's just now trying to create a lethal situation. So, sorry, went too far. 6. Oh, that didn't really matter if I took one of those. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it didn't. Doesn't matter in this case. As long as he doesn't have Luna, you're fine. But if he has Luna, you're punished for last turn. Like super hard punish. Cause this turn he can clock, put you on a 2-turn clock. You see what I mean? Like once they start poking 1 card, right? You will start running out of counters in your hand. Then your hand will be left with like the blanks and the giants. So next time when he swings like 1 card again at you, right? Then you're forced to like use giant and shit. So that's why against GP Mirror, it's better to swing for like odd, like just keep swinging like 1 card.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Like this, like I just saw.
Unless
I got lucky.
unless
you saw the better cards.
Yeah, unless you have spare dawn, then you can afford to swing a bit harder. But if you don't have spare dawn, it's okay to just swing like 6 and 7. It's okay. Because you'll be able to melt their hand in the span of like 2-3 turns if you just keep swinging 6 and 7s.
No, that makes complete sense.
Yeah. I think more importantly, what you need to figure out is when to starve and when to not starve. Because like I can tell you, when you're starving like this, right, you're putting yourself in worse position. That's why starving is not like a method that I actually like to teach people. Because sometimes they use it wrongly and they just die. Like they'll find themselves using.
I've been using it wrongly constantly.
You need to know whether they kept their hand and in this case, right, okay, I'm not too sure if you played BY Mirror in the past, but a similar concept here is like with the Gup. Like Last time, if you go first as BY, you're having a gap is quite a significant advantage. Cause means you can push 5-5 on the 3-down turn. That's very important. Cause means you push one life, but your opponent is to counter one attack. So you see their net value from that trade is 0. Cause they take one life and then they have to counter 1k for one attack.
Yeah, I did not play BY.
Yeah. +1 to hand, -1 from hand. So going first, you can do that if you see Nami and Sanjay Pudding. So going first is the only exception I will make to like keeping your searchers. Like you know how I told you all to keep your searchers? But go first is different if you have Sanjay Pudding and Nami. Then you get, cause you already have the turn 3 play secured, right? You play.
Right, I have what I need.
Yeah,
no point.
You already have, cause you're not doing anything on your 5-down turn. You're only playing Sanjay Pudding, maybe using leader effect, maybe not, right? So because you already have that play secured for you, what you should do is just play the Nami so you can swing 5-5 the next turn and apply pressure on them. Then next time when you swing 5 again with your leader, they will probably take it or they might counter. If they counter, that's good for you, right? But if they take it, that's also good for you, because that means right now they are at 2 life. Now every turn, you don't even have to swing with your characters, you swing with your leader, they also have to counter 1 card, correct? If they want to stay at 2 life. If they go down to 1, back to the same spot. Now they have to always counter for your leader swing every turn, and you might not even need to turn your board.
Yeah, we get the card regardless, no matter what, and then if I'm in a place where I can turn one body sideways, it's checking another card every time.
Yes.
No, this all makes sense. It's just trying to make sure I'm thinking through that thought process as I'm playing and going through that decision making.
Yeah, everything makes sense. It's like GB Luffy Mira is you need to make sense, and when you play, you need to information is very important. Whether or not the guy kept his hand, that's very important. Because if he mulligan, right, you have a little bit more incentive to starve him. Because if he mulligan means he didn't see what he need in his initial hand, means he's digging for it in his second hand. And whether or not he plays searchers is also very important. Take note of what they find off their searcher. Let's say they go first and they didn't find Sanjay Pudding, didn't find any follow-up like play, right? And they mulligan their hand. Let's say going first. Okay, let's say going first. Going first, they didn't play any searcher. And they mulligan their hand. I should starve him. Because he mulligan his hand means it's random now. If he kept his hand, means his minimum means he guaranteed has Sanjay Pudding if he going first, correct?
That's what I would expect.
Yes. That's your mulligan priority going first. If you kept your hand, means your hand minimally has Sanjay Pudding. So if that's the case, I would swing. Because if I don't swing, he's gonna see his play regardless. Because he kept his hand. Correct?
Yep, and I need to put myself in a position to win the card race.
Yeah, then if I starve him, I look like an idiot. Because essentially I'm giving him more time.
I did look like a fucking idiot, so yeah.
Yeah, so you need to know how to utilize starving. Starving is a method in this game. Okay, for GP Luffy at least, starving for GP Luffy is to deny your opponent of hitting their perfect curve. Because let's say if the guy goes second as GP Luffy in the mirror and they hit perfect curve, going second 4-5-4, they are significantly ahead. And if I starve him while they hit their perfect curve, I look like a complete idiot because they are at like 4 life. And they still hit their perfect curve, which means I'm already putting myself on the back foot. Go first is all about initiative, because you need less pieces than them. You just need 1 Sanjay Pudding, and you can do the Nami pressure thing if you go first. So go first mulligan priority is to try, ideally, is Nami, Sanjay Pudding, and follow up. That would be best, but at minimum, Sanjay Pudding. That's the baseline. If you're starting first hand, don't have Sanjay Pudding, just fucking mulligan away.
Everything you're saying makes fucking sense. Yeah, I gotta think about it in real time.
Unless it's Nami and searcher event, then I will keep going first. Because you dig 8 cards deep for Sanjay Pudding, and you still have 2 more turns to find Sanjay Pudding.
Yeah, no, I would keep that usually as well.
Yeah, so pay attention to their mulligan, whether they mulligan, their searchers, and then what is your mulligan priority? Those are the things that I'm seeing right off like this game at least. Like the few games that you showed me. The previous game, I don't know in what world or universe you can keep the hand. The hand was atrocious. 3 2Ks, stage, and Searcher event. If it was Nami, maybe I could still give you benefit of the doubt, but it's not even Nami, it's top 3. You're not finding Sanjay pulling off that. If you find it, you're high rolling. Because it's
I gambled for no reason. Yeah, no, you're right. 100%.
Yeah. And stage is not a searcher, stage is just random draw one.
Filter. What's that? One card filter.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
The other actually, it didn't come up in these games with Zaki too much, but this has come up in some real life games I played quite a bit, and I'm actually not sure the best way to think about this. And you do talk about it a little bit in the guide. I've been having a lot of people in the mirrors where they are getting themselves at that dawn threshold where it becomes very difficult for me to properly utilize the 6-cost Luffy correctly. Like they're playing around that like.
So they are playing
5 range.
So they are playing behind on dawn. That only works if they are ahead on the board, you know.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, if
I'm pushing aggression, then I don't have to worry.
Yeah, if they're not ahead on the board and they do that, right, they're actually losing the game, like in the long run. Because they're always playing with like 4 dawn, 4 to 6 dawn, while you're playing with more dawn than them. Which means all you need to do is take the board from them and you win. Because
if I'm ahead on dawn, I'm just doing Baker's taller, and then there's the correct decision from there to put taller swings into their bodies and ask for more cards.
Yeah, just take their board and you will win. Because if they have played with little dawn and they have no board, they cannot win. If they play with 4 to 6 dawn without a board, right? If their board is not developed, they cannot win. Because their attacks will hit like wet noodle. While your attacks actually hurt, you know? But it's a valid method. Like if you're ahead on the board and you want to push yourself back on dawn, that's a valid method. Because that denies them from stage value and also 6-cost Luffy. So that's a method you can implement if you are ahead. And you have the sufficient resource to defend your board. Sometimes you might not even proc your Sanjay pudding, so that you can put yourself behind on dawn to lock them out of like certain things.
I've done that for a game or two, and then I guess on defense too. Though, is there a world in which you are ahead where you will intentionally overcounter with a giant just to create that dawn deficit to deprive them plays?
Yeah, that's also another consideration. That's one of the more advanced things in the mirror. Not that easy for me to teach. Because if you do that, I figure I shouldn't do that in the guide. Cause like if I do that, people do wrongly, they will start blaming me. Yeah, so I don't want to put them.
No, I just blame myself.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna blame you.
I'm afraid to write these kind of things in the guide. Like even I was a bit like skeptical of writing the starving thing in the guide also. Cause like I feel that if people implement it wrongly, they're gonna lose more games than they win. But
yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So that's why I'm a bit skeptical about writing these kind of things. Like, if I could just tell you to play normally, I think it'll be better. But like, there are some things in the mirror you can do to get that slight edge. But yeah, you have to know how to implement properly. Because these things are double-edged sword. If you do it wrongly, you're gonna die.
No, but the context you just gave me helps put a lot of this into perspective. Yeah. So
that's why I think it's not easy to write. Because it's very game state dependent. And like a lot of factors to take into consideration. Like, I only can write on a surface value what you should and shouldn't do. But when it comes to the actual game itself, different game states will be asking for different things. Yeah. So, right. Is there anything else you need to go through today? Because I think this should be plenty for you to work on.
Yes. Oh, no. It's a ton. Like, this gives me a lot to the next couple playtesting sessions I do to like really try to think about all of this and implement. So no, this was perfect. Honestly, I think this answered so many of my questions.
Right, that's good. Anything else you want me to go through?
No, I need to process this.
Yeah, I'll
too much more is gonna overwhelm me.
Yeah, I'll keep this as a VOD. Then you can review it, like if you need to.
Yeah. I definitely will go back and watch it.
Okay. Sure. All right. So that's all for today. Then I'll see you next time. Bye bye.
All right.